Okay, welcome guys. Welcome to team call night. This is our big team call night. And today is, I just sounded like Sandy, didn't I? Thursday, September 24th. And I am so excited because we just got back from a really fun-filled, amazing diamond retreat and summit. And so you're going to hear from the top coaches on our team, their takeaways, some of their favorite moments. And I mean, this picture right here just is like all the joy, all the smiles, all the like hard work that they have put into their business. And they were so this week was just so well deserved for all of our diamonds and everybody else that made the commitment to be there for summit and to be able to meet all of your team. I just think it was so cool. There was lots of happy tears, lots of like lives changed, lots of hearts opened, lots of faith growing within people, which was just really cool to see. So I will without taking up any more time, if there's time, I'll do my mine at the end. If not, I can just do a live in the team page. But all right, let's get right into it. So new coach, Janine, welcome. Super excited. And your babies are adorable. Welcome, Janine. I do not have my boards yet. My assistant is actually Holly Hillier's sister. And she's like, I'm watching Holly's kids right now. So I will try to get them to you. But so I will post those either tonight or tomorrow. But here's Perfectly Imperfect's top leaders, Heather, Amy, way to go, Amy, Kelly, Hannah, and Becky. Congrats to you all. And then congratulations from Faithfully Fit. Kelly is a new Emerald coach. So exciting. Congrats. Again, beautiful babies. And from Challenge Champions, look at that beautiful Challenge Champion sign behind you. Becky Downing, congrats on hitting Emerald. So exciting. And a huge congrats to Jess Rio, killing her business. 6 months into the business is team leader. And she is just absolutely a workhorse. I got to meet her in person this week. And the way that I just saw her constantly, it was like you guys, the summit celebration ended. And she's like, all right, who has a piece of paper? I need to do a brain dump and I'm going to make some energized and I'm going to get my like power hour on. And I'm like, oh, okay. I like it. And guys, that's exactly how I was. So you watch this girl, and I'm not saying that to be cocky. I'm saying that it is facts that if you show up and do the things and hustle when other people are enjoying some downtime or going to bed or hanging out, and you show up and like the unsexy hustle, like that is why Jess has had the success that she has had already so short into the business. And that is why I know she's taking it to the tippy top, because she has her goals aligned. She's not afraid of hard work and she's doing the thing. So do not look at somebody and think like, oh my gosh, that's so unfair. They did something so short a time. What am I doing wrong? They're just like 10xing. And so you can do it too. And just be like, you go girl, because know that every single person that is being celebrated as, diamond, star diamond, team leader, getting promotions, they're showing up and doing the work. And just know that you can do it too. And don't be mad about the time that you haven't spent digging in. Just be excited that you have the opportunity to be able to be in charge of your business. You're not waiting on somebody to decide what you're worth. Like, you get to decide. If I'm going to put in the hustle, it's going to pay off. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out in that little tangent there. And then the Success Club board is Jess Rio again at the top, because she's showing up. 16 Success Club points, seriously killing it. And then Melissa Rachel at 8 Success Club, way to go. And Hannah at 6. And you see that, all of them are showing up, doing the things. Melissa signing tons of working coaches. Rachel and Hannah are celebrating Emerald coaches. And, you guys are absolutely killing it. So top recruiters, Jessica Rio, no big deal, 5. Hannah has recruited 4 coaches, Melissa with 3, Rachel with 3, Hannah with 2, Jennifer, Kelly, Sammy, Savannah, Shayla, and Tara with 2. So some of these, it's kind of hard. It's kind of cool because as our team grows, and I have Carolyn Marone, who is my uplines coach. So we're basically like sister coaches, and our team is killing it. Her team is killing it. So sometimes it's hard for me to weed out who is who. So if you ever see anybody and you're like, who is that? Or if I, feel free to introduce me if I'm like, who is this person? Because it's really cool to see people that I don't even know who they are already on the board. So we've got our star diamonds, myself at 5, Heather, Rachel, Hannah, and Casey at 1 star diamond. Way to go. And then we've got our diamonds, Melissa, Jess, my second business center, Hannah's second business center, and Mr. McDonald. And some rubies, we've got Kevin and Jody. So Kevin, not sure what you did this week, but get it together, Kevin. Like, really, Kevin?
It's lacking.
I know. You tell Kevin. Gigi said, get it together. And Jody, I am so proud of her. She messaged us today and said that she has just had so much success, that she's so lit up after this event, and she's had more productivity like in the few hours today than she's had this week or whatever since she's been back than she's had in months. And that is why we go to live events. So without further ado, I will stop this sharing. And like I said, I can go last or I can do a live. So whoever, I know Casey needs to go because she's got bedtime for Dakota. So I'll start with you, Casey, and then we can just, whoever needs to go can round robin.
Okay, perfect. And I have no idea what they're doing, so you will hear them screaming. They're being crazy. But I guess that my biggest takeaway, which I really didn't prepare for this, so I just like jotted a couple things down in my notes, but I wanted it to be like something that I actually truly like came from my heart. Number one, I think that over and over again, just the number one thing that always continues to stick out to me as I get further along in this business. Next month, at the end of the month, will be my 1 year. And as I continue to just like go longer in this business, I just find more and more times something like another layer gets covered or uncovered that I didn't know I needed. And when I first got started coaching, I had just moved to a new city, went to a new school, and my life was just really crazy. And for a long time, I had felt really lonely. I had my daughter at 19, and so I didn't have a super big community of women who were my age, who were also mothers, who were also pushing for all these other things in life. I'm a full-time college student. I was working 2 jobs, and I was really just trying to put my best foot forward and own up to my life and recognize, that I'm in control of this. And honestly, that has been like the number one thing that I didn't know I needed when I got started coaching. I didn't know that I needed a community of people to uplift and support me, because for so long I had been doing that on my own and playing that part on my own, and it was working for me, but it was hard and it was tiring. And it's so much better when you do have that support system and that community and those people to rely on and those people to turn to. Like I told Jess and Hannah, I was like, we're just going to be like the first successy throuple because we just like vibe so well together. I was like, I don't want it to just be 2 of us. Like, it's just going to be the 3 of us. And just to think that not only would I have never imagined a year ago that I would have been able to earn that trip and, meet all these people in person and all of these friendships and all these people who I know I can turn to for anything, business or non-business related. Like, I also got to bring my very own coach to that as well. I'm talking.
All right. And most of us are really good at like listening and pushing through that. So
yeah. Okay. Anyways, they're gone. But it was just such an awesome experience to know that not only did I get to like work my butt off to get myself there and bring myself into this positive and uplifting community that I can turn to for everything, I got to introduce somebody else into that as well. And not only somebody who just like kind of dove in and, participated a little bit, but like April said, Jess works so incredibly hard and she earned that trip. And it's just so awesome to, earn the success for yourself. That's one thing, have all those things for yourself. That's one thing. But when you can do that for other people, when you can bring them into that community, when you can help them quit jobs, when you can help them, bring family members home, stuff like that, you guys, that is what is so meaningful about this business. And the number one thing that I didn't know I needed. And then my other takeaway, my biggest takeaway was that I never knew that it was possible to be surrounded by people who you didn't agree with on everything and still have a positive environment. I grew up in very toxic friendships, from high school and stuff like that. And it was always like just gossipy and mean girly. And like, to be completely honest, I am able to be open and honest about every single thing that goes on in my life and know that nobody's going to think different of me. Nobody's going to think poorly of me because, I face different circumstances or because I think a different way or because I believe something different. Melissa had a really good post about it earlier. I think it was today too. And it just goes to show that this is just such a honestly so unique, because I think that a lot of women probably have similar stories to me where they had toxic friendships and friends, groups of friends that like didn't vibe well and, you know, were cliquey and all those things. But I can honestly say that every single one of the leaders, you know, I don't even know how many years divide the youngest from the oldest one, but there's just such a difference between each and every one of us. And it's just so crazy how well we can mesh together. And it just really gives me hope for like this world and like just life in general, because even right now, like there has never been a more polar year in my life than this year. And this retreat just like really re-solidified a lot of, you know, like the goodness that I needed to see in people, and just like the spirit and the I'm getting chills. It was so amazing. And I just think it's so important for people to know that if you feel like, you know, kind of how April said, it was like, oh my gosh, like why did she see all this success, or how come she did it faster than me? Yes, it really does just have to come down to that work. But you can do anything in a year. You can do anything in 6 months. Don't think that because you've been in this business for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, however long, don't think that because you've already been in the game that long that you can't see that same success in that same period of time, because you can. It's going to take a commitment. It's going to take dedication. And I think I have to go now. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there too.
I'll go next. Hold on, let me see. April, is that okay? I don't know if she's talking in between us or not. So I love that, Casey. One thing that I was really like, when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, there were so many different things I could think about that was like my favorite part about this weekend, because there were so many monumental moments, I feel like, in so many of our lives. And I got the honor of speaking to so many different ladies who had a variety of goals. Just how April talked about how faith really moved this trip. Not one person that I spoke to privately asked me how to hit diamond or how to achieve a goal. It was all about, you know, their personal goals or surrendering their life to God, or like different things that they really just wanted to grow into a better human being, which I thought is so powerful. Like we have an incredible community that's not only based on health and fitness, but also based on becoming our best selves. And, you know, April, obviously we all know she doesn't have an upline. And, you know, Steph joined our team and she doesn't have an upline. And I really took that for granted until we got to this retreat. And I realized how lucky and blessed we are that not only do we have an incredible upline, but we have such a diverse group of leaders that we can serve our coaches in so many different ways, right? I'm not so great at, you know, certain things, but I know that Heather is, or Hannah is, or Michael is, and I can have my coaches directed to them. And we are all willing to help. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, that when we know that we can help change somebody's life, even if it doesn't benefit ours, like how amazing our crew is. And I got the honor of speaking to, you know, obviously my coaches and some of Heather's coaches and April's coaches and Michael's coaches. And I think that was my favorite part about everything, was just realizing how amazing it is that us leaders can come together and we can, you know, show our strengths to certain people, and then also point our coaches in the direction of somebody else who might be able to serve them a little bit better. And I learned a lot, and I grew a lot from seeing other people's leadership and see how willing they were to not be possessive with their coaches or anything, but to say, I feel like you'd be really great at mentoring my coach in this. And I thought, how incredible is that? It just takes our community to the next level. Like Casey talked about how you don't find women who are, you know, collaborating and just lifting each other up and supporting each other and encouraging each other. But not only that, but to take it a step further and try to help their team see success. I think our team has something so unique in that, and it's so beautiful. And it was something that I took away, and then I hope that I can continue to just grow in and know that any coach that I find is struggling, that I feel like somebody else could mentor them better than me, that I always have that opportunity, because our team is just, we lead from the front, like we're servant leaders. And I think that's such a blessing.
Yes, right. I'm like, I've got a cranky baby. So if you want to MC and pick who's next, that would be so helpful.
Can I go next?
All right.
I can get back to my birthday girl. Okay. And if I don't go next, I might not make it. So my biggest takeaway is that I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Oh, you should have known. You should have known it was coming. I can't tell you how many birthdays I thought that I should have been the one on that bridge instead of my friend, that his life was so much more valuable than mine, that he would have done so much more, such better things than what I was doing with my life. And that's what I thought about every year on my birthday. I don't think that way anymore. I'm so glad that I was not on the bridge. I'm so glad that I never went, and I'm so glad that I have you all. I was the only leader there that did not have my own tribe. But never once did I feel lonely. Never once did I feel like my input there did not matter. Hey, baby. Okay, I will lay you. Can you, you don't even have a shirt on. Happy birthday. All right, I'm going and then I'm going to bed. So go lay and I'll be there in 2 minutes. Mom life, I got it. Hey, please. Go, please, go. Brought me back. But the love and the community, and you know, I am so different, and I've always been so different, and I've gotten so used to standing out that I forgot what it felt like to fit in. And that's, for me, that's such a hard thing. And it happens so easily. And after 2020 being 2020, I didn't even realize it, but I felt so safe hugging everyone there. I didn't even give it a second thought. And afterwards I thought, holy shit, like my husband just watched me hug like 30 people. And he's like, way. And he was in this house with all these people and he didn't care. And I never even thought about it until after the fact, like, whoa, I hugged a lot of people this weekend. like more people than I've hugged probably like the entire year. Maybe not, but so that was my biggest takeaway. And before I jump off, I just want to say something from the free group that we did, and I can do more on this in the team page if you want, but November 1st is daylight savings time. And so I think it would be a huge advantage for your challenge groups, for your free groups. Yeah, everybody wipe the tears, get yourself back. To take advantage of daylight savings time and utilize that extra hour. So if people are getting up at 6 o'clock, it will now be 5 o'clock without doing anything different. So instead of gaining 1 hour for one night, maybe not even if you're a parent, you get an extra hour of your day for the rest of your life potentially. And so you can do different things in the morning to stay accountable with that. You can go to live for the first 10 minutes and talk about how you get out of bed and then what you're going to do with the next 50 minutes. And then from there, I can just segue to, hey, what are you going to do with that extra hour? Well, I know, right? And we all know that if you're already a morning person, or if you were not a morning person turned morning person, that extra hour in the morning can be literally life-changing. So I think that would make an excellent free group, and there's tons of free value to add in there. So that was something that we talked about, and I will be running a 2-week free group with the 2-week free trial in October with the Unstress program. So I will share like probably something different with the workouts, but our free group in October is going to be based around the Unstress, and I am on day 4 of meditating for the first time ever in my life, because I am that person that like does not sit still, does not stop. So I was like, I'm going to do this, and then we're going to run a group with it. So Mark's doing it too. But yes, so this weekend was wonderful. Live events have literally changed my life every time I've went to them. So I cannot say it enough. Like my sobriety date is a live event. The day that I went all in with this business, it was a live event. Like, get yourself into a room of these women. I'm not gonna lie, when Casey said like the age difference, like right, or Heather kept trying to like call us 3 generations the whole time. I'm like, we are not their grandmas. We're old, but we're not their grandmas. Like, come on. It's 2 decades. But I also, being that person that stood out and being really bad with technology, so I'm like really like with the 20-year-olds, I can't even hang, right? I was very intimidated. I thought that my anxiety was going to take over in things, and I was just asking Jess all kinds of things, and I'm like this and that, and it was just wonderful for me to feel comfortable with like 20-year-old gorgeous women. I mean, it's a very cool thing. It's a very cool thing that does not happen out there, and we can't say it enough. And I'm going to pass it on now.
Okay, I'll go next. That's so funny that you say that, because Melissa would keep coming out to me. She's like, Jess, you're hip. Like, what do you think? But that kind of goes into like my whole point, and like my takeaway is, I mean, I just can't believe that 6 months ago, I just didn't even know that this community of people existed. Like, it's crazy to me, because now like you all are my best friends, and it's just crazy. I've never had these kind of people in my life who are so empowering and supportive and self-loving and make me a better person. I grew up in the same friend group as Casey, and we did just have a lot of women who were just negative. You know, they didn't really, you know, bad habits, bad patterns, and just kind of made us not the best people. So having this community to just make us, you know, our best versions of ourselves is just my biggest takeaway from everything. And I knew I had it over Zoom and everything, but seeing it in person and seeing it unravel in person was just so life-changing for me. Like, it was just so amazing to experience it. And I've mentioned this a couple of times on my story, but I seriously like had this moment this past week or last week where I just knew I was exactly where I was meant to be. And I've only had those moments like maybe like 2 other times in my life, but it was just so like, it just hit me so like deep in my heart that I knew exactly that I was meant to be there. So that's just definitely one of my biggest takeaways is, you know, the community has just been life-changing for me. And I just think it's awesome that we all come from different backgrounds. Like I think Melissa posted it. There's a picture of Melissa and she's holding a blunt, and then like Michael's in the corner, like pregnant, just like holding her up. And it's just so funny how we all like have different backgrounds, but we all come together for this common interest of helping people and wanting to be better. And that's what our community is based around. So I think that's just my biggest takeaway. Sorry, I'm gonna be short and sweet. I have to talk to a leasing agent again because I'm still trying to find my apartment. But that's my biggest takeaway. I really just love this community so much, and it has changed me and made me such a better person. And it's all because of you guys. So.
I can go next now that I've kind of like calmed my cry down a little bit. I knew as soon as like everybody started hopping on tonight, like I started to already get choked up before anybody even spoke, and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to talk. This is not gonna work. And then I was like, maybe I can go before Melissa, because once Melissa goes, it is like gonna be gone for me. But I will hopefully hold it together, though my voice is still a little bit cracky. But I think just, and this is like overall, everybody kind of feels the same way. The community is my number one and has always been my number one. From the very first day I ever joined a challenge group, before I coached, before I knew anything about this community, it was the community all along. And every single time that I grow with this team, and every single time we have a live event like this, that like part of me just grows even more. And I cannot say enough how important it is, just like Melissa said, to get your butt to these events. Like whatever you have to do, no matter what, like this is an absolute, you have to be at these events. And we are going to continue this. This is a little bit different this year because, you know, Summit was canceled and we ended up combining the two, but we're doing this again because it was so incredible. And being able to meet, you know, these people that you see, you know, weekly or sometimes even daily in your challenge group, but to be able to actually squeeze them and have these like talks with people where there was zero surface level talks the entire weekend. Every single time you get in a conversation with somebody, it's like way deep immediately within minutes, you know, and people who never cry are crying. it just goes to show you the group of people that we are. And this isn't, I don't think this is necessarily across the board, all Beachbody, but this is our team. Our team is full of the most incredible, loving, giving women, and you guys are a part of that. So whatever you do, just make sure if you were not there this year, you absolutely, no matter what, without a doubt, you have to be there next year. So the biggest takeaway that I had was kind of like has already been said, but the age difference between, I mean, there was literally there's 22-year-olds and I'm going to be 41. So going into this, I felt like, oh my gosh, am I going to be like the old lady? Am I going to be like the one who's like, oh, girls better go to bed, it's late, you know? And just the fact that we are such an incredible team, an incredible community. I never ever felt that huge age difference. I just felt like we are a team, and those are the kind of people that we are, and that is the kind of team that you're a part of. So it's always been thank you, April. It's always been the community for me, and it will always be the community because there's just nothing like it. I've been in, I mean, I'm 40 years old, so I've had a lot of relationships with other women, and before I joined Beachbody, I was, you know, I had a crew of, you know, quote unquote Christian women. And when we got together, it was not like this. It was not like the group that I'm a part of now. It is not like you guys. So we really are unique and we really are special. And that was my biggest takeaway, just being able to, and it is every single time I come home from one of these trips, it's just being able to have you guys as people who lift me up and people who are part of my life.
So I have a couple takeaways, but one of them was the Enneagram test. If you guys haven't done that, like definitely do the Enneagram test. When I first heard that we were doing this, I was, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this is so stupid, but whatever, I will go with it. I was literally doing the test when the lady was there. That's how much I was not into it. But it was so awesome to see like what my number was for my personality and what my in health is and what my unhealthy part of my personality is, so that I can work on those things to just be a better person and to get like, you know, with other people and know their personality. So right away I had my husband, I am such a 4. I had my husband take it, and it was really awesome because the lady there, Heather, she was like giving us the training, and she gave me some marriage advice for a 9 and a 4 because we're like polar opposites. And so if you haven't done that, I just really encourage you to do your number so that you can see, especially if you have a team, like what girls on your team, what their numbers are, so that you can then know what their personality is and what drives them, what doesn't drive them. So that's like what I've been working on even now, is diving deeper into the numbers and the personality types and things like that. So that was really, really awesome. And then another thing that was a takeaway was when you're feeling discouraged or you're feeling like you just want to give up, to lean into this team, lean into your coach, lean into the coaches on this team. The week before the trip, I was in that discouraging place. And when I get discouraged, I tend to withdraw. And I honestly didn't even want to go on the trip, but I'm so glad I did, because I leaned into everybody, and the support and love from this team just lit my fire again. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's go, reset, let's go. So I know a lot of us, we do the same thing. We just, you know, retreat in, we're like, forget it, I don't want to see anything, do anything. But that's not going to get you to your goals. Like those small things that get you rattled at the end of the day aren't going to get you to those goals. If somebody doesn't do something on your team, you can't let that person get in the way of your goals and where you want to go in this business. 5 years from now, you know, we're responsible for our own businesses. And so that just really helped me when I leaned into the team and leaned in, and I was surrounded by like-minded women. You know, that just lit my fire. And we can do that on Zoom and all those other things, but when you're with the tribe, like it's just so much better. And so that lit my fire and just showed me like I can't withdraw. I need to lean in. And so if you're ever feeling discouraged, like don't be quiet about it. Like reach out to your coach, reach out to your upline, your sisters, your success partner. If you don't have one, find one or reach out to your coach to find one. Those are the people that you need to be like, hey, I'm really feeling this way. Like, don't feel bad to tell your coach, like, I'm feeling discouraged. I need help. Because it really helps just light that fire again and know that it's going to be okay. And that this is hard work, but it's worth it. Like, and it's so, so worth it when you're climbing up that hill. Climbing up the hill is hard, and there's going to be times where we stumble, but we only fail when we stop and we just give up. That's the only time we fail. Like, we can keep going. So that really just helped me, like, I'm going up this hill and I'm taking my girls with me and we're going in this team. And I'm just so thankful for that. And then another thing is being at these live events, kind of like what everybody just said. As soon as things start opening again, like with our super weekends and stuff like that, but Summit next year, if you don't have your ticket, get it, because it's so awesome, and push really hard to be on next year's Diamond Retreat, because I had met all the ladies before at other events in the Diamond Retreat last year, but it was my first time meeting Jess Rio, and she and I, and Casey too, I kept them up till like 1 a.m. Those are my girls. Everybody else was like, it's 9 o'clock, I gotta go to bed. And I'm like, woo, at 1 o'clock. So Casey would be like falling asleep like midway through our conversation. She's like, wait, yes, and then and Jess and I talked forever, and we left best friends. And so, I would have never met, had those personal relationships like that and had those memories had we not gotten together and roomed together and all that kind of stuff. So I just really encourage you to get your ticket to Summit, get on the retreats, do whatever you can to be at these live events. I know it's a little hard right now, but hopefully next year it will be better with all of that. So those are my takeaways.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Michael because you're pregnant. You're next. In case that bedtime calls.
It's getting late. And that's actually perfect because just like Hannah, I loved the Enneagram test. I wasn't really sure what to expect from it, but for me, I have just struggled so much with self-belief this whole business. I've been a coach for 4 years and just struggle with believing that I could actually be a leader on this team. And what the Enneagram test did for me was truly just open my eyes to pinpoint my true thoughts. Like, I knew how I was feeling, but I didn't know why I was feeling that way. And I couldn't figure out like how to get better or how to start believing in myself. So I'm an Enneagram 1, which is literally like a perfectionist, which totally makes sense. But they also talk about like your core fears and your core desires and how you address your business and how your relationships and all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, this is all me. This makes sense. And when it clicked, it clicked. And from that night moving forward, I felt like a leader, not because I was like a totally different person and I all of a sudden had all this belief. It was like, I knew why. I wasn't like just stuck with this feeling of not being good enough. I knew why. So I could then begin to move forward from that point. So if you have not taken that test, I suggest it 100 times over, just because it's not only helpful business-wise, but personal growth-wise, and to like go further on that. So later when my team got there and my girls got there, I was able to talk to them in a different way. Like, I knew how to address them. And I watched every single one of my upcoming leaders like have a complete breakthrough. Not like in every aspect imaginable, in faith, in personal belief, in figuring out what their next steps were, in creating these big, huge goals and scary things. And like, I watched every single one of them be able to take that step forward. And all it took was me figuring out that I could be a leader. And that it wasn't just me, like there was something wrong with my mindset. It was, I needed to pinpoint it because that's the perfectionist in me. So I pinpointed it, and now I can move forward with the goals, like the actionable steps that I'm able to take. But I instantly saw that. And like everyone talked about, this community is just amazing. I've never had a group of friends like this my whole life. I wanted it. I prayed for it, never had it. But I instantly feel accepted here, completely belong. And even though I struggle with that leadership mindset, I had a lot of girls at this retreat and we are the best of friends. And if this is where I remain forever, like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be in a place where I belong. And that's really just what I would recommend to you guys is this business is all in what you make of it. Dive into the community, dive into your business, and figure out personally what your struggles are so you can move forward. Because for me, that was game changing. And since I left the retreat, my business has been super consistent. I've been like on top of everything. I'm sure that will change as seasons come because I'm having a newborn in a couple months. But I know that I will get back to this because it's so worth it. Everything about it is so worth it. So those are my takeaways.
I love that. And it makes my heart so happy to hear you finally be like, I feel like a leader. Like you can't make somebody believe it. Cause trust me, if I could, I would have. I'm always like, Michael, you are a leader. And so just hearing her come back from that just makes my heart so happy. So I'm so proud of you. Jody, let's go to you next.
Okay. So, I mean, everyone's kind of already said, you know, what I was going to say anyways, but I'll kind of touch on my points as well too. I did go to the retreat last year, but I don't do girls trips. Never really done girls trips. So I was very reserved, very quiet, very like, yeah, this is not my jam type of thing. But going into this one this year, I was excited. I was ready for a different mindset. I had a different mindset going into it. And I knew it was going to be a blessing in disguise. The fact that we didn't have Summit, I was looking at the positive, and the fact that we had this opportunity to all group together and meet people that we were probably, at Summit, you don't really have a whole lot of time to spend with each other. You're running all over the place. So the fact that we were going to have that one-on-one time with everybody really made me excited. So I went in with a different mindset, and it was life-changing for me. Even though this was my second one, I cried more in 4 days than I've cried in the last 4 years. Everyone had me crying every single day. I'm like, oh my God, stop. We don't have this many Kleenexes in the house, you guys. But just to see everybody so lit up and to see people just like say, I've run into this problem. I've run into that problem. There was not one person in that room that hadn't been through a similar situation. So if you have ever gone through something or are going through something or you approach something down the road, don't think that there hasn't been another coach in this business that hasn't come up to the same obstacle, been through the same scenario that cannot relate to you. So if you ever have something like that, please feel free and don't be afraid to reach out because that's what we're all here for. And I'm a true believer in power in numbers. So when you group together with other teammates and with other people, whether it's towards a goal, whether it's working through something, that power is going to overcome whatever you're reaching, for whatever you're trying to overcome. So really, like, Hannah said, just lean into that because that's what we're here for. This community has been amazing from the get-go, but just seeing everybody's faces and smiles and just the hugs and everything, like that is just what we needed. And that was my biggest takeaway, to make sure that I'm putting out more of we are one full team. Even though we have our own teams, collectively, we are one huge, massive team. And like I said, power in numbers. So when we're all working towards similar goals and all pushing together, you guys, this team, our teams are going to be unfreaking stoppable. It's just going to push everybody further and farther, and we're going to see some major growth. So those are my biggest takeaways.
I'm just over here like smiling and nodding. I love it all. Yeah, just seeing too, being able to witness the growth in Jody from last year to this year too is really cool. Just being able to like kind of take a step back. And I've always been my sister as well. We have a issue with growing up that if you want to be heard, you just got to keep talking. Doesn't matter. You just got to push through. You just got to keep talking. So we are both a work in progress and letting other people speak and not interrupting. But I'm usually that person that like wants to have my voice heard, but it was so nice just like sitting back and taking it all in. And, I've also been praying a lot about like, please God, like help me to keep my mouth shut sometimes and stop thinking about what I'm going to say next and focus on listening what somebody is saying. And so that's something that I've really been trying to work on. And it was just so nice to like take a step back and just like look and see all that, you guys we're doing and the growth in all of you. So, okay. Diamond wise, Michael, Jody, Heather, is that everybody? Okay. So I'll really quickly wrap it up. And if anybody wants to pop in anything, feel free to unmute yourself after. But kind of along the lines of that is just being able to take it all in and see one of my biggest thing, because like Rachel said, I don't have an upline. And so it's so important for me to have community. That's just team culture, and community is one of the things that's the most important to me. So to look back and see everybody with their collective teams, realizing in real life that like you have your own team, but we really are one big family. And that's everything to me. That just means so much to me, because that's something that I wished so bad that I had. I would always take a look at other coaches and be like, oh yeah, my upline is just running this training, and or they're doing that. And I never had that. I always had to do everything myself. And like along the lines with Rachel is like, I know if I have a rock star that's really moving in their business, I can just pop into the Star Diamond chat and be like, hey, I have this girl, this, and this. I think these 3 people would be really great. Can you take a call with her this week? And so just like the willingness and the hearts and this community is everything, because there's so many teams that aren't like this. And it's so hard for me to, stop it, I can't. It's so hard for me to like accept these compliments. It's really hard for me to take compliments. I don't know. I'm a work in progress, but just hearing them, all the diamonds, kind of surprised me and just kind of said, some sweet things about me. And words of affirmation is always my love language. And so that's like the best thing that I could have ever received. And that was like single-handedly like the best night of my life. So I just want you guys to know that, just you being there and and then pointing out that Michael didn't go, so she had to say something she loved about me too. Hashtag humble. But yeah, that's just it. I just love this team. I love being able to do what we do, and I really love that I know that I will get to see all of you build this awesome creative awesome huge tribe just by showing up. So sky is the limit. Yeah, you guys can just email me the thing that you love about me the most. I'll just accept them in email form. Thanks. So if anybody else has anything before we go, feel free to. I've seen so many people. I know Jamie made an awesome IGTV. That was really great. I had chills watching that. So yeah, if you do have some takeaways that you haven't been able to put into words, I really encourage you to do that and maybe make an IGTV or things like that. So anything else? Okay. Anybody want to take a group picture? I'll show you faces. Oh, I'm just going to take a screenshot. Where is everyone? Okay. Oh, we have 2 pages. Oh boy. All right, making me work. Okay. Everyone smile. We're going to have to smile twice so I can get everybody. And feel free to take your own too. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Hold on. What buttons do I push? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Next one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I will send that to you and post that in the team page. And thank you guys so much for hopping on. Make sure that you are at our next one, because we are going to do this next year too, where we do the diamond retreat and then we open it up for the team. I didn't blink. We'll see about that, Hannah. All right. Love you guys. Have the best week. We'll talk to you later.